Bring you reaction now on this particular story. Solly Msimanga is DA Gauteng leader joining us this morning. Mr. Msimanga, good to have you on ENCA. A lot of people wanting to get reaction then from the Democratic Alliance on this. So your first thoughts when we saw Tania Campbell back in the mayorship again? More things change, the more they say the same. It doesn't look very good as far as the revolving door of mayors is going. It doesn't seem very stable in Gauteng at the moment.
Well, Gareth, thank you very much for allowing us the opportunity, and good morning to the viewers of ENCA this morning and to Tumelo as well. Yeah, you know, we need to find a way in which we can stabilize local government, as we know that, you know, coalitions are going to be the way forward, you know, into the future of politics in South Africa. And therefore, it is going to be very much important that we find a way in which we're able to then stabilize governance in all metros, in all municipalities, and as you, by many predictions, what is going to be in a number of provinces. And therefore, it is very essential that we get it right now, so that, you know, we're able to then provide steady governance into the future of municipalities and provinces in South Africa.
To be fair, the only reason Tania Campbell is back in the position, Mr. Msimanga, is because the ANC and EFF couldn't agree on what they were discussing. That's by default why Tania Campbell's back in the position. Would you agree or disagree?
Well, look, I mean, I wouldn't want to disagree too much on that. The fact of the matter is that, you know, the EFF had certain demands of the ANC. The ANC couldn't meet those demands. The funny thing is, if this was done by the DA, the headlines today would be DA arrogance 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever the case would have been. But, you know, again, it's at times when people decide this is what we're going to do and we're going to stick to it. But, you know, that is a debate for another day. I think what is more important for us right now is how do we then get, you know, to prioritize and to fast-track service delivery on the ground. And this is something that I had a discussion with the mayor about yesterday and with the executive in Ekurhuleni. I said to them that, you know, the time for playing petty party politics is gone. The people of Ekurhuleni need services, and they need services like right now. There are areas that needs to be cleaned. You would know waste in certain parts of Ekurhuleni having been removed. As I was driving to Germiston yesterday, I found most roads, you know, leaving or getting into Germiston, not being able to be accessed, given the fact that drainage, you know, still remains a problem. And yesterday, with the rains that were falling, you know, it became very, very much difficult to navigate around and to get to where I needed to be. So these are some of the things that I raised with the executive, and this is a commitment that I got from them, that these are what they're going to prioritize. So, you know, we shouldn't be concentrating too much on petty party politics, but we should be concentrating on how do we coalesce with everybody around service delivery in Ekurhuleni.
I don't think anybody would disagree with you, Mr. Msimanga, that it should be about fast-tracking and prioritising for residents of Ekurhuleni and Gauteng and obviously the rest of the country. But especially when it comes to Ekurhuleni, we need to, unfortunately, talk about those the petty politics, because come 2024, if this is how coalitions are being handled in the country, it doesn't fill me with a great amount of confidence that on a national level it's going to be any better. We can't get it right at local government level. Are we going to be changing presidents every 3 months in 2024? Well,
Gareth, I think, you know, if we were to look at just what has happened in the last few weeks as the yardstick of, you know, coalition governments in South Africa, then we will be mistaken. We'll be taking a very short view of everything that is happening. You would know that there's quite a number of municipalities across South Africa, not just here in Gauteng, that have actually been coalescing for quite a long time. In fact, the Ekurhuleni was part of a coalition government before. We have had coalition governments even in the Western Cape, even in the city of Cape Town before. You know, the DA had actually won it outright. But be that as it may, I think we need to find each other. You know, and I think it's getting better from where we had been in 2016. in the previous term. And, there's a whole lot of lessons that have been learned, and there are lessons that are being learned right now. And I think, if we are to reflect, yes, there have been mistakes that have been made along the way, and we shouldn't be really trying to hide those mistakes, but we should be then saying, how do we learn from those mistakes? How do we better communicate within the coalition parties and with, the message of unity from the coalition parties, to the residents of a particular area that we're supposed to be servicing. And once you're able to then do that, and there's a clear plan in terms of how you're then moving forward, then there will be a better way in which we're able to then, service the people that have elected us into office.
Let me ask you this as a final question, Mr. Msimanga. The only consistency in politics in South Africa is the inconsistency. So what is your bet? Where's your money on how long before another motion of no confidence is brought against Tania Campbell? Weeks? Will she be there by Christmas? And what are you going to do as a party to try and avoid that happening?
Well, legally, they cannot bring that motion for the next coming 3 months. The system doesn't allow them to do that. So I think this has also been a little bit of, politics that were coming from the ANC in Gauteng, leading to the National Congress that they will be having in December. As you would know, that, Gauteng has been blamed for having lost the metros and having lost the momentum that they had. And therefore, they want to regain some relevance going into their elective conference in December. And this is why you'd find that they would do anything and everything to make sure that they remain relevant, in the political sphere. And we cannot really be concentrating on that. As I said to you earlier on, Gareth, ours is to concentrate on servicing the people. Now, that being said, what we will then be embarking on is to strengthen our coalitions and to try and build up a majority in areas where we are actually in government, especially in minority governments, and also to try and build a majority government. And also to get over this issue of jostling for positions and concentrating on the basis or on the issues of delivering of services to the people that, are desperately in need of services, like the people of Ekurhuleni. And that's what we're concentrating on.
Hopefully it's going to happen sooner rather than later. As you say, fast-tracking of priorities is what needs to be done. Hopefully it is the case, and more stability in Gauteng and indeed in Ekurhuleni. The Mayor, Tania Campbell, is back where she was before. My thanks to Tania Campbell, DA Gauteng leader, for joining us this morning, getting reaction to the more things change, the more they stay the same, it seems, politically in Ekurhuleni.